Maybe we should do like an introduction thing.
That's fine.
Say like, welcome to Big Woods Whitetail podcast. Or maybe we should call this East Meets West podcast.
East Meets West.
What do you guys think?
We
really don't have a podcast name.
There's actually one called that already.
Is there
one called East Meets West?
The Big Woods podcast is really solid. I think it's great because it's like I see it as the two of you guys with what you do, what you know. Then we're like the cool little outsiders who come on in, and that's why I think it's awesome. Like that's such a great representation of like cool podcast,
right?
And that's why like I think it's cool.
It's such a good name too. I like that.
And then why are we sitting in a room with the card table?
Yeah,
right. Hayden, you can answer that, right?
Yeah, I don't even want to know what this
why are we in a little stark room with the card table?
Well, I just moved in from California, so not all quite there yet.
You're not all there yet?
Yeah. I'm here in spirit.
Was that the saying is like you're here, but you're not quite all there?
Yeah, still got stuff coming in, but we could deck this place out pretty nice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That'd be sweet.
Get a nice table and stuff.
You got your bed so far. That's it.
That's all that
only
matters.
furniture
right now.
you need.
Yep.
Couch and TV's next. That's it.
Yeah. So you literally just moved here last week.
Yep. Last week on Monday, I stayed at Eric's for a night, and then the next day we went to go pick up the keys for this place.
Yep. And a little bit of backstory. So just like what, 2 months? No, that was the latter part of winter. Hayden comes in for like a quick weekend.
Oh yeah.
He finds out we're going to the cabin.
Yep.
So Eric never went to the cabin. You were there once before, right?
Correct.
And then you had told Hayden about it. Like, you got to come. He flies from California.
Was that the first time? I mean, is that when you started thinking about this whole thing?
We've been talking about it for a little bit.
Yeah,
it's part of the process.
We talked about him coming out here for the later part of the last year. But that was something with him. It was always like, what are we going to be doing? And so it was kind of the deciding factor. And that's why, interesting enough, is when I met you and after the first time going up, the exact lifestyle that you guys live is literally what him and I have talked about forever. Of like the land, the space, all these crazy cool things, like having the ATVs, going around doing all this stuff. So after the first time after going up with you guys and checking out that space, when I talked to him about
That's
it,
incredible.
that's like he flew in for that. We were supposed to be doing something else, and then all of a sudden it was like Myron's like, "You guys want to go to the cabin?" I was like, "Yeah." And Larry just asked him, and then all of a sudden went to Walmart, picked up some camo, and I was like, "Hey, we're gonna go turkey hunting."
That is the first thing you guys thought was camo pants when you got in here.
Yeah, neither one of you's ever did any kind of hunting before.
Never.
Not
that was my first time.
That's so cool.
Yeah, first time.
So your first official hunt was a turkey hunt.
Which
we failed miserably.
Yeah, we saw one.
A little bit of action.
But I will say, I gotta touch on this just real quick.
Yeah.
I've never seen a look on somebody's face like I did yours. There was so much intensity in your face.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And at one point we're sitting there was nothing happening. I kept calling occasionally.
Yeah.
And I looked over at Hayden. I was like, "Hayden, what do you think?" I was like, "Dude, this is amazing."
Yeah.
It feels like we're like snipers out here.
Yeah, that's how it felt.
And that intensity, I was like, "Man, you're gonna love hunting."
Yeah.
It's like, I think for me, like a huge passion, a huge thing that I'd like to talk about, like in this podcast for moving forward, is just like the conversation of how we introduce new hunters into the field. Because I was looking up statistics the other day, and since 1982, so I'm 43 years old. I was born in 1982. From 1982 to today, we've went from like 17 million U.S. hunters, like 14 million. So like it's on the decline.
Yeah.
So how do we encourage the next generation or people that never hunt like yourselves? Like I hear so many friends say, "Oh man, I'd love to do that. I've always wanted to try it." But the barrier to entry is like, it's kind of tricky. You need equipment. You need to know where to go. You got to go out in the middle of the night. There's a lot of obstacles.
That's why it's real complicated. And that's for us, like, I know for myself, as well as like Hayden, we talked about, it's like, we have friends who like, everyone's interested. Everyone that I know is actually interested in hunting, in partaking, and they actually love the lifestyle. But for us, like, we're from California, it's not a normal thing to do there. So it's a lot of people who are interested, but they don't have people or anyone to even talk to or communicate for any sort of experience. Then a lot of the stuff, when you're looking up on YouTube and you're doing it, there's nothing really beginner friendly in terms of things. Because a lot of like from with your guys' experience, like it seems like it's something that's kind of passed down from father to son or passed down in a family kind of taught. So there's the people who are already making the content for it aren't people coming in targeting people like us. It's like you would never think that two guys from California are interested in hunting when there's a lot of people who are actually interested, but no one's making the proper content to actually target these people. So like that's for us. And like that was something I'd like, one of my things that I wanted to do when moving here. And the first time I met Myron, within the first 15 minutes of meeting him, I literally was like, he talked about shooting and hunting, him, Ray, and John. And so I talked to him about that, and he told me about hunting. I was like, man, I've wanted to do that forever. I was like, I've always wanted to go hunt. I'm like, that's on my bucket list this year that I want to knock out. And within that first conversation of us having, that sparked all this stuff between him and I.
And that's a common thing that we hear people say, but then to translate it into actually happening is a different story.
Yeah.
It just seems like the next, like you guys are in your 30s, we're in our 40s, and kids today, I mean, kids are going into the metaverse. They're not going out into nature. So how do we get them away from all this technology? Like that's the other part of this that I think would be fun to get into is how do we get kids and young people, just anyone re-engaged? Because hunters are the real conservationists. It's not the studied, right? It's the hunters are the conservationists, and they're the ones that are going out there and really figuring out what's needed. And tying it together is important, but it's so cool to have you guys move in here, coming from the West Coast, and we're on the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're hours from the coast, and having a property up in northern Pennsylvania is really cool to be able to have you guys be introduced into that.
Yeah, well, it's good we had you too, because I would have never known like where to start, like you were saying. You know, you guys were our guide for us to do like our first hunt and to get in, know what we're doing, basics, just do basics like we were doing. But it helped a lot, and then that's where that idea sparked. And even when I went back home to California, I told one of my buddies, showed him all the videos of us, and he's like, "Dude, I'm so jealous, man. I would love to do that." So it goes back to what you're saying, like he would have never known how to do it, or
just
he didn't know. But there's no opportunity.
It's the barrier of entry. It's like I would not have found anyone to go hunting with unless I met Myron.
Right.
And it's like, if I didn't meet him, I would have had to go meet someone else who would have been able to guide me. Because that's something, again, me looking into this, I would have had no idea. I would have had no idea where to start. It's like, I'm 30 and I don't even know. And I use the internet for everything and can look up whatever. And like, and that's like where it is, like how you just said, is like, you show our, like for us, our buddies back home from California, you show them what we do. And they're just like, dude, this is insane.
He was jealous.
They're like, this is the life that we want. Like people want it. People want to get off of their phones. They want to get out of the technology. But a lot of people don't even, like where we're from, know it's out there. Or they do, and there's just a wrong perception about it.
Oh,
and that,
for sure.
And that's the thing, like with hunting, which is like there's a negative perception for certain stuff, but there's such amazing things that come from it, but it's not really talked about over the noise back west. And that's why, like, I think like stuff like this is great because
the Midwest is big hunting, but not the West.
If you look at the coast,
mountain hunters in California, they're out there.
The culture, the hunting culture in Pennsylvania is something we take for granted because it's been passed down for generations, and that's not typical in all the states. I mean, Midwest is big, but Pennsylvania has a hunting culture like
it's one of
the largest numbers of hunters as well.
Did you guys? So you guys were passed down generationally. So like your father taught you, or you guys were taken out as kids?
Our dad would have taken us out. I mean, very casual. I mean, he was a very casual hunter. He'd just go find a spot in the woods, sit down, and just hunt. But so we kind of took what he passed down and went another step with it.
What age?
A little farther, but
because you guys are brothers.
Yep.
What age were you when you guys first went out hunting?
Oh man, I mean, that's a good question. I probably was around 12.
He didn't really allow us to hunt. So there was seven of us. There were 7 of us kids, right? So he didn't really allow us to hunt, at least for myself. He didn't allow me to hunt until I was like kind of old enough to hunt. And because there were so many kids, there's 4 boys and 3 girls in our family. So kind of, you can't take everybody out at once. He was like, you got to wait till you get a little bit older. I think I was like around 12.
And I don't think they had the mentor program back then, did they? So you technically, I think, had to be like 12.
You did.
Really?
You had to turn 12, take a safety course at that point. If I remember correctly, that's how it was.
Yeah.
So it was 12 or older. I mean, we didn't do much then, but that's when we'd have been introduced to it.
Right. And the real backstory would be our dad went with his nephew and his cousin, and they bought a little piece of property up in northern Pennsylvania, and way up in the mountains, you almost couldn't access the property because the driveway was so steep, like up in a ravine. Got to take you guys up there sometime. And
is that the one I went to?
Did we go over there?
I think we went up there.
We called it
the cabin.
Golden Eagle Camp.
Is it? You had other relatives or something?
No, I don't think we went up there.
Oh, are you talking about when we saw
up there? That little rustic cabin, the gas lights. You were there.
Yeah.
So
that's a cabin, man.
That's a cabin.
That's a cabin.
So,
electricity.
I went to that one. Or was it a different time? Well, we went to a cabin where the guy had no electricity. It was just using.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah.
Oh,
no. He went to the
Roman.
That was a
that's
a different.
the heel cam.
Yeah, he went to a different one.
Okay.
Yeah, so he built the cabin. They hauled logs up there, and like they tore down some tobacco barns and built this cabin. Like very classic northern Pennsylvania camp is what they built. And so they hunted there for years. So we as kids grew up going there, and that's where we were kind of introduced to the lifestyle. And so our dad, I mean, he was into it, but it was mostly just like rifle season.
Yeah, hunting camp. We'd go up hunting season. Bunch of guys would come up, hang out at the cabin, go out hunting, and go home. I mean, it was
nice.
Mostly the hunting camp experience, which
Yeah.
is really cool. I mean,
Yeah.
talk about some great memories.
Yeah.
The classic, like East Coast for sure. East Coast, I can't speak for a lot of the Midwest, and I know a lot of the Midwest is this way as well. The classic hunting scenarios, you don't really hunt much all year long. Rifle season hits, schools, kids get out of school for a couple of days. You go up to the hunting camp, you hunt from like, you go up Friday, you come home, you stay till Wednesday. It used to be that a lot of people would stay like a week.
Okay.
And guys would just stay up late playing cards, and you go out in the morning and you hunt. Nobody ever gets anything. Back then is when they didn't have the antler restrictions. So guys were shooting spikes and 4 points, and
What do you mean by spikes?
So just like a deer with
like
two
little, just
That's
a
like
little,
11 pointer.
Yeah.
Really?
Just
Like,
1-1.
Yeah.
Like two.
Just a 1-1?
Just a horn on each side, like a spike on each side.
Yeah, so that was a classic buck that guys would shoot. I mean, sometimes and we would just get up early in the morning, hunt back, go back like a mile into public land, sit down, and you just pick a spot and you just sit.
And for, let's say, people from our perspective of things, when you say points, of like if it's a 8-point buck, so that's going off of the total tally. If there's 4 and 4, both sides, how many points on the actual antlers themselves?
And it has to be, each little point has to be at least an inch long to be considered an actual point.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
But you just count how many points it has, and that's it. Simple.
Okay.
That's how you figure out.
Yep.
So 4 and 4 is an 8.
Correct.
8-point
Correct.
buck.
So it wasn't really until much later that I kind of got into archery hunting. I was around like 16. I know you archery hunted a little bit.
I did a little bit as a young teenager, but then I kind of got out of hunting for a while. I was more into sports and stuff. Then I got married, had kids. Then when my kids got old enough to get into it is when I really got back into it.
Yeah.
So it was kind of
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you were 16.
I was around 16 when I got into archery hunting, and from about 16 to 20, I hunted fairly regular. I shot a couple of deer.
Yeah.
And then I started my own business around 21 or 2. And in the fall was always my busiest time of the year. And then a couple of years later, I got married, and you're just busy, right? And my friends group wasn't into hunting, so I just didn't get into it. And I always knew I liked archery. I loved it. First time I went, I just loved it. So fast forward a lot of years, in 2020 or 2019, no, it was 2020, we were at the hunt camp that you guys were at, the one up the top of the mountain, the Golden Eagle camp.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, oh man, we should really buy something. And I just jumped online and searched land for sale near me. And the piece that we own now came up for sale. It was up for sale. And on the way home, we drove over there, and the rest is history.
Wow.
So that spring we started building.
For you guys, so do you remember your first hunt?
Oh man, that's a good question. I can't say I remember the first one.
I was thoroughly
I remember some of the first ones. I can't say that I specifically remember the first one. I remember being super excited. So my dad was really, he was really into it. I would say though that he didn't, and it was very common back then. They didn't have the information we have now. Now we're accessing with good wind, and we're accessing the right areas. We're hunting benches, and we're trying to figure out the bedding and the food, and we're trying to tie it all together. They would literally just walk out in the woods and sit down. And there's still a good percentage of the population of the hunting that still does it. They just go out, sit down, and hope deer get pushed around. Now, guys that are into archery hunting seem to be into it a little bit more. And with YouTube now, there's really a lot of information.
Well, you have to be more dialed in for archery because you got to get them within 20, 30 yards.
A
So
lot closer.
You got to be dialed in.
Yeah.
Some season, you go out, find a big hollow where you can see 300, 200 yards, and
and you just
hope something comes by.
Distance.
Right.
Yeah. It's a good point.
So it's definitely a different ballgame.
Do you remember your first kill? Is that something? Because we haven't done it yet. So that's I'm curious, from my perspective, is it memorable to you? Is that something that
I can
sticks in
remember
your
my
mind?
first kill for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What'd you get?
It was that one day, yeah, I can't remember. Maybe it wasn't my first kill. I shot a small buck. It was like a little 5-point or something. And I had doe tags. And later, I shot 2 doe. I got like 3 deer that one day. It was crazy.
I remember that one year where you and I shot like 30 minutes apart and both drug. There was snow on the ground. I remember like 8 or 10 inches of snow. We both drug our buck off the mountain and down the same
together. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now that was in rifle season again.
What about you? What do you think? Or like, do you remember your first kill? Like,
so I actually don't remember the exact first one because like in rifle I shot quite a bit of deer, a lot of doe, a handful of straggler bucks. I should say a lot of deer, but a good amount to where I don't remember the first one specifically.
Yeah. Do you have your most memorable one?
Well, the most memorable will be some of the most recent ones.
Really?
But no, I remember some hunts. I remember specifically hunting archery when I was like 17. And I went up into the woods off of this camp that we were referring to. The one that we went up to, that long lane, not the steep one, but that other cabin you guys were at. And I went up behind the cabin there and found I just walked out like my dad taught me. Found a spot with this little bit of like sign, right? It was over a scrape. Sat up in a tree. And I remember thinking like, they're probably going to come from the top here. It drops off below me. The wind was blowing towards me. I remember thinking they won't smell me. That's the extent of what I remember there. And I remember sitting in the tree and close to dark, this buck comes out of the thick cover and like pops his head out and literally like looks both ways, smells it. And that was the first time I remember thinking, oh my word, these animals are so smart. And he ran to the scrape under my tree, tore it up and ran back to the cover. And then like 30 minutes later, another little 8-point comes down from the top. And this deer I thought was long gone and it snorts and that deer takes off. I remember thinking these animals were super smart.
Yeah.
And the idea of shooting, and that was a big buck. That was a mature, probably, again, the antler restriction as it moved along, because we were kids when that restriction came, was put into place. And as we grew up, the buck just got bigger and bigger, slowly but surely.
Yeah.
But at that time, this was a really big, mature whitetail. And I just remember thinking, oh my word, shooting one with a bow is next level. And I shot one, it was either that year or the next year, I don't remember, like a little basket 5-point, and thinking, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And then it just kind of stopped because I got busy with work.
So when did you, what do you guys prefer now? So I know you prefer bow hunting. But with you, Gerald, do you prefer bow hunting?
For sure. And part of it is just simply the weather too. I mean, it's just
it's not just stinking cold when you can do it.
It's just a beautiful time to be out in the woods. But the archery hunting, to me is a lot more fun than gun hunting. There's not so many people out.
Yeah,
it's not as
that's a big factor.
And the weather's nice. It's and you got to get close. To get the kill, it's just another added challenge.
Was when you guys did it the first time? Are you saying like you fell in love with it then? When it was like once you were doing archery for the first time?
So it's kind of the whole package. And that's kind of goes back to like the barrier of entry thing because so we didn't have like a lot, and this is an excuse, but I had felt for years that I didn't have a great place to hunt. Everywhere I hunted was overpressured. But really what it was I didn't put in the time. I didn't door knock to find places to hunt. I wasn't going and scouting state game land, a public land like I am now and spending days and days and days doing it. I just didn't do it. Again, it was just a time of life. We were busy. I mean, he was raising a young family. I was starting out. And it was just super busy. So again, in 2020, we got started. We are actually at a place now we're a little bit more, established, right? We're older. And we were able to buy something. And then once you have a place to go to, then you have the land to hunt. And then we're fortunate and very blessed to have public land all around us that it just opened up a world of opportunity. And having your own place, it's just a game changer.
Yeah, it brings it up another level.
It's certainly not a must.
I just thought about it. Not to interrupt, I just thought about it. My first deer kill was a doe. I just now thought about this. My dad actually got a lamp made out of the legs of the deer.
Really?
I wonder if I still have it. I think it's in my attic. So my wife found it the other day and she's like, I'm going to throw this thing out. I'm like, no,
you're like, no, that thing's sweet.
It's a horribly ugly lamp, really ugly shape.
It has like 3 legs coming down.
The 4 hooves are the legs, the base of the lamp.
Cool.
That's cool.
But
Hayden needs a lamp.
I do. I do need more lamps.
I should bring it in. We can put it in our little studio.
Your studio lamp.
Covered in layers of dust.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that was my first deer. I totally forgot about that.
I had a question too. When you bought that land up there, did you know that area already?
We did. So the cabin that you guys went to, the rustic one up the mountains, that's only 15 minutes from our cabin. So
and
that
cabin, we've been there since our childhood.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
since
we
I
go up
was
there,
a baby.
vacation up there, whatever.
Yeah,
and that was 10
Our
miles.
oldest brother was just a baby, like 2 or 3 years old when they built that cabin.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's like you don't really think about how much you take it for granted. It's just a way. Like for my kids, it's just a way of life. They don't know any different.
So has your perspective changed in terms of hunting and all that stuff from say when you were younger versus now that you guys actually have land, have all that stuff? Is there you have to like take a different perspective towards the hunts or anything like that, or?
Fun.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no question. Like, and I would say, we're far from like expert level hunters, but I would say what I learned in the past, like you learn, it's kind of like a child when they're born, they learn the bulk of what they know in the first 7 years, whatever that is. It's the same for hunting. I think we take for granted what we learned from when we were kids till 6, 7 years ago. But in the last 6, 7 years, specifically 6 years, I learned. I've spent hours and hours listening to podcasts and watching movies and trying to tie it in, because when we bought the property, we have several hundred acres. So it's like, okay, now we got to establish this. How are we going to set this up with food and access, and where does the bedding? So now we were forced to think about it. So we put tons of time.
Yeah, that's when we really, really took a deep dive into learning how to hunt and create habitat.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we have this land now, and you want to make it as optimal as possible.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of things you can do there, and there's all kinds of ways of doing it. And there's 100 different opinions, and
so it's like a whole new thing for you guys in terms of
sure
your hunting experience, because you go from like say us going on the public lands, not having to tend to anything, do any of that stuff, and now you're in a whole new experience.
But in some ways, that's just as appealing because you're not as tied to your land. It's not as big as financial investment or time investment. Just go out, scout, have fun. It's a whole different way. It can be just as rewarding, I think.
Yeah, I think in some ways it's more rewarding because you're also playing this game of avoiding the hunters,
right?
And you can't just let your land lay low and then move in when the time is right. There could just be some newbie coming in and he's sliding through there and he messes up that area for a week, right, leaving scent behind, and and so you're really it's also a game of avoiding hunters, right, and figuring out where they're pushing the deer to. So it's also a thing of now, hey, what's the access or where's the difficult access for other hunters to where the deer might be pushed to, and I need to slip in there to get a deer. You don't always have to walk really far back to find the buck, but they often get pushed to more of the remote, safe locations where personal property, you can just let it lay.
Yeah.
We actually don't do a lot of hardcore hunting until like the third week of October when things are starting to heat up and the buck are starting to really move a lot.
Yeah.
But it's just really fun having both, where you can have a property, you can do all the land management, which, oh my word, we learned a ton of land management, habitat management. We've paid for habitat plans. There's courses that are online now that you can take. There's so many good teachers now on YouTube. You can learn this stuff so quick. But to tie it all together, because every property is so unique, every property is laid out different, and so you have to really figure it out for your own on your own.
It's true.
Or get experts to come in. And we didn't get an expert. We got someone who's slightly knowledgeable, that we just tied the expert's advice together with his.
It's like he drew something up.
Like this will work.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of probably knew that already, but it's all good. Confirmed it.
Yeah. I just think that's cool though, because it goes from, it's like you take from us at our starting journey and we're just learning the basics, fundamentals, but then it goes, there's a whole, there's just so many different levels and steps.
Yeah,
for sure. Especially with what, say where you guys are starting off as fresh young hunters, kind of, then learning more, you start learning how I've gone out with Myron about stuff and he just blows my mind talking about the wind. You got to look at the hill from this way and doing this, which is so cool.
Start talking about thermals and thermal hubs. It's
that's a whole other conversation.
That's like you go from there, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now you have land.
Yeah.
And it's like as adults, and like you guys got there, it's like you guys finally got your land. You're working there now. You're tending to it, which is a whole nother thing for the hunt. Which is so cool. Like to me, it's like there's like these cool little levels to hunting.
That's the coolest thing I think too, is that land.
Yeah,
and I think that's amazing.
There
and I never really thought about the conservation piece until we own the land, because you don't really think about it until you're responsible for it.
Yeah,
right.
I had some people I know, I won't say how close they were to me. They were pretty close family members who were pretty upset when they found out that we were shooting porcupines and really taking them off the property.
Oh,
Well, what they didn't know, they were, oh man, they're part of the ecosystem. I'm like, they're girdling all of our trees in this one ravine and killing all the trees off when we need this new growth.
right.
So
right.
as a hunter, you start thinking about this. It's like the grouse. There's a lot of grouse in northern Pennsylvania. We have a good amount of grouse on our property, but I want the population to grow. So it's like, no, let's not kill grouse for a while.
Yeah.
So who's managing it? Is it some biologist somewhere or state legislators in Harrisburg? No, it's the hunters that are managing this, giving the information back to the game commission or to Pennsylvania or to whatever the agency is per state. They're the real conservationists, and we care. We're the ones that we want to pass this down. And that's what's really neat to see how, like, I personally feel the state handles a lot of the game lands pretty well. There's obviously mistakes that are made, and there's a lot of really strong opinions on how, Pennsylvania and a lot of states handle their game lands. But it's really neat that they preserve that for hunters, for any of the general public to be able to come in and hunt. They're doing a lot more management of food plots and stuff like that now. So there's just so many changes that are coming and that have come along since I was a kid that's making hunting better for the next generation.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what's so cool. It's like now, well, we got elbow room. We can bring other people and mentor other people, have guys like you come in and change the subjects a little bit. It's so cool to see the look on your faces, right? Just to see that, like, that's really special. And it's kind of like same for our kids. Last year, my daughter shot a really nice 8-point on our property up from our camp.
Wow.
And that was like amazing.
Yeah.
And like now this year, she was like, I don't want to, like, she wanted to be in a theater and play on the volleyball team. And she was like, Dad, if this intervenes or this interferes with my hunting, I can't do it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Like,
that's awesome.
So like, this is what I would love to see, like the next generation. How can we change the statistics? 17 million in 1982 to 14 million today. It's obviously declining.
Right.
And some people would say, well, that gives more room for us to hunt. But there is so much empty land, vacant land. There's so much private land that people aren't hunting on. And that's a whole other conversation, private land and how it shifted since we were kids. People used to just allow you to go into their land and hunt. There used to not be posted signs. Now there's posted signs everywhere.
Or people,
so many things have changed.
Or people will take private land they had and just let people hunt on it for free. And now they'll lease it.
They'll lease it out.
So they can actually make money. Leasing has become a huge thing all across the country.
I didn't even know that. Wow.
They have private land. Used to say, oh, hunt, have at it. I don't hunt it anyway.
Yeah.
But now everybody, I mean, there's YouTube and social media has taken the hunters that are there and just took them to a whole new level. And so they're all looking for private land and they'll pay pretty big money to come and just lease your land just for hunting season.
And that's better than public because everyone else is on public,
because you can control who's there. It's not as pressured. So there's a lot of advantages to it. And it's actually cheaper in the long run to lease something like that than to buy your own land and have to manage it.
Right.
So it's another tool in your toolbox, another way to
that makes sense. Yeah.
Hunting. It's just,
that's interesting. Wow.
Yeah. So it's changed a lot as far as access to land. But Pennsylvania is pretty crazy with the amount of public land they have.
Yeah. So touching on that, like I pulled up the stats here, and for you guys from Cali, this is insane. These are insane numbers. So Pennsylvania has the top 5 in the nation for total deer harvested almost every year. It is over 850,000 licensed hunters.
Wow.
That's 850,000. Second only to Texas in some years. Huge public land access, over 4 million acres of public. Yeah, over 4 million acres of public hunting land.
That's crazy.
Which is, but like even here, like what, 12 minutes away is, what is there, over 10,000?
I think it's about 6,000
acres.
Is
it 6,000 acres of
chunk
hunting land?
Big, right?
It's crazy. For something 12 minutes away and we're right here and everything. And all of a sudden there's so much.
And regarding archery and what makes it special, you touched on this, Gerald, is the lack. There's not many, the pressure's not there. Rifle season is a lot of pressure. In archery season, to me, that's what made it a lot of fun as well. It's just not quite the amount of pressure.
Yeah.
You go into private land and the deer aren't being kicked everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's another big difference between rifle and archery season. Rifle season is still the most common way of hunting in our state.
Okay. And when is archer season? Like
October, like the first Saturday in
It's
October.
just opening up. Actually, some areas, Chester and Montgomery or Lebanon, Chester and Montgomery, opened up the 20th, and then I think the rest of the state opens up the 4th.
Yeah,
October 4th.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So that's there. Then rifle season. When does rifle season start?
So that is right after Thanksgiving, right?
Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Is that, and then does archer season end, then it goes to rifle, or are they like...
You can hunt with a bow or crossbow through any of those seasons.
Okay.
It's an archery season and a rifle season, and then later is like a flintlock season.
Right.
I'm not sure the muzzleloader seasons, but you can use crossbow or compound bow through all those seasons.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Archery season, you can shoot
unique.
buck doe, and then it transitions into like bear.
Mm-hmm.
Where you can hunt bear for what, a week?
Yeah, I'd have to look at those seasons again. It's been a
and you
while.
can, like I said, you can shoot bear in archery season, and then it transitions to first Saturday after Thanksgiving to rifle, and then that goes.
That's only what, a few weeks,
2 weeks, or
3 weeks. I forget.
Yeah, last couple of years,
3, I believe.
We haven't been hunting rifles much.
So, for let's say the topic of how you said like the bear hunting. So, for people who don't understand or could see that as a bad thing, a lot of people see bears and they're like, "Oh, it's all cute," all this stuff. With hunting something like a bear, what impact do they have that is like a good reasoning to hunt them? Because that's like there's something there's got to be a reason behind it, because a lot of people will sit there like where we're from and like they're killing this cute animal,
innocent, cute little animal,
cuddly bear,
like
cuddly black bear.
Same with a coyote
bear.
Yeah. Oh, you're killing these dogs.
Did you guys see the recent black bear attack?
No.
You should look that up real quick.
I didn't look at a lot of. I saw it, but I didn't look.
There was a recent black bear attack. Extremely unusual.
Very unusual.
Yeah, brown bear. Yeah, but
brown bear. Yeah, but black bear.
Black bear, pretty harmless. But you're completely right. Same with the coyote. You shoot one. Oh, you killed this cute little harmless animal. Yeah. Well, what you're not seeing is maybe a video of 3 adult coyotes circling this buck and taking him down in the middle of winter. And that's brutal.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not just that. They're killing how many fawns a year? Should look up these numbers. Black bear the same way. They kill,
I think it's like
pretty large.
Average like 6 fawns or young yearlings or something a year.
So
it's varied, obviously.
They have to be managed, number one, or they get out of control. If hunters would not manage, the same way with the deer, if you don't manage a population, they soon become overgrown, eat all the food, get sick. I mean, you have to manage a herd.
Right.
I think all the states see this a lot in like urban areas where all of a sudden, somebody restricts a patch of land, 100 acres where it was hunted before, and there's developments around it. And then as soon as that's not allowed, they're getting hit on the roads. They're going on eating people's, bushes and plants. And I had a lady in the development say that the deer were coming up her steps to her second floor patio and eating her plants.
Oh, wow.
And she was all opposed to hunting until that happened. Now suddenly they need to go.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
hey, that's how it is, man. It's always whining.
You don't know until you know.
No, because it doesn't happen to you. Then the second happens to you, then it's like, oh wait.
Yeah. So I was never against it. I just didn't fully understand it.
Correct. And that makes sense.
Right.
Sure.
And it didn't cross my mind too much.
Sure.
I was just like, oh, I wonder why they're out there doing that. It's not like, oh, poor little animals.
Right.
But I'm sure there's a reason, like you said.
They just think that you're out there bloodthirsty wanting to kill something.
Right.
It's fun to kill an animal, but to do it ethically and understand the big picture and the ecosystem behind it, if you would just let them go, they'd be in way worse shape and suffer a lot more than if you ethically kill a certain amount and keep the herd healthy.
Yeah.
And keep that whole thing in balance.
If you would miss 1 year, say Pennsylvania, if you miss 1 year, the deer population would be so out of control that people be complaining.
Or you miss one season of bear hunting.
Yeah.
It'd be a problem. All of a sudden there's thousands more bear, whatever that number is. And so that many times 8 or 10 less fawns because they're getting killed. I mean, it just so quickly gets out of balance.
Well, then vegetation, I mean, you can't support a deer herd without a lot of new growth. So you see this, you go up in like the Poconos, a lot of these areas that are very mountainous, but a lot of developments are moved in. And you see this, you pull into the development and you can just it's green trees everywhere. And like 5-6 foot up, there's just no greenery. You can just see across.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no food for the deer. The deer are wandering around, they're skinny.
Yeah.
So it does have to be, 1 year of not killing animals, deer and bear, you would have major problems.
If they're not healthy going into the winter, they starve during the winter, they die off, have a miserable death. It's not. That's nature can be cruel.
That's 10x worse than dying in minutes. Dying
quick,
death slowly.
Some of those urban areas are actually saying the deer are not even growing as big anymore because there's just a shortage of food. They're getting so overcrowded, they're not even getting very big anymore.
So it's like
it affects their
overpopulation, and then
in those urban areas they can't get in to hunt them and manage a herd as well because there's so many houses. So it's becoming a problem.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
And that's like the big thing, like just where we're from is where people they don't understand the perspectives or thought process. I don't think people understand that, it's like how you're saying, if there's not enough food, that they're even genetically growing smaller or they're even becoming smaller because there's just not enough for them to actually eat or to survive properly. Or some animals that if they're not attended to are going to essentially start attacking and killing off other animals.
Well, and if there's an issue with food shortages, you want to talk about a nuisance. I mean, a deer isn't going to like come and dig in your garbage can, but a black bear will.
Yeah.
They'll come right up on these properties, next to these patches of woods and whatever, and they'll go right into urban areas and right up to someone's.
Oh, my uncle's had it right up to his door.
Yeah.
Right up to his door, was banging on his door. Excuse me. And he's like, "What is this?" And all of a sudden he goes out there, giant bear. Yeah, we have the footage of it, man. It's hilarious.
One bear can destroy acres of corn. They say, they can do crop damage. It's unbelievable.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah. You go to these areas where there's farmers and a lot of black bear, and they just want them all killed.
Yeah,
because they're just a major nuisance.
Yeah,
and they don't really have a predator. You think about that, a black bear doesn't have a predator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So other than humans,
right.
But yeah, so back to the archery thing, I think that's still, to answer your question, Eric, that is definitely our number one. That's my number one passion. The archery challenge is just by far the most exciting. Like you said, Gerald, like the best time of the year.
Yeah.
And it ties the best with like habitat management. It ties the best with just like the challenge of taking an animal. Like there's nothing like it. And to your point as well, we're not out there targeting Bambi. We're looking for the mature whitetail deer.
For the older ones it's not some young deer that has their entire life. And the thing about that too, like that's why I think archery is so cool. It's not like shooting a gun, which is a lot easier. Like for me, I love rifle shooting and like I love shooting, but it's something it's like, I think it's more back in the times. It's like going back and makes it more of a challenge, which is a bigger payoff at the end of the day, probably. Because it's like you have to really, really work for that. And that's what our ancestors have done. Think of the bow and arrows going out hunting, doing that, man, taking care of things. It's like that's crazy. And then it's like a nod to the past as compared to that's like it seems like it has a really good payoff. Seems really exciting. We haven't done that for those of you guys listening.
And the gun season is fun too. We kind of take the buck season or gun season a little bit of in a different way. We go up there more of taking a bunch of our nephews up, hang out in the cabin life, just have a big party, go out in the woods. It's just a lot more lighthearted and casual. So a lot of times we'll have, if archery season went well, we have our buck already. So we can just hang out with the nephews and cousins and have a good time. So it's still a lot of fun. It's just kind of a different mindset to it a little bit.
So you guys just went out on a hunt, correct?
We did. Yeah, well, kind of more of a test run.
Okay.
So we just went to private land, local, and it's about a 5,000 or 6,000 acre piece.
Well, yeah, but only part of that was open on
right. So that's right. Even you should tell that part how we couldn't.
Well, I don't know how much you want to say where we were at, but part of it is actually a state park, and below the state park is two smaller parcels of state game land. So Pennsylvania state parks, for some reason, are not open a lot of Sundays, and I'm not sure why. It's a state park thing. So just the state game land was open for the Sunday hunt. So it seemed like everybody was crowded into this small area to hunt, which I guess you guys didn't see a ton of hunters back in there. But
were you guys not
saw
together?
One.
What's that?
You guys weren't together?
Well, we were there together, but we were in separate areas.
You split off going separate.
So we all went back this trail. I dove off pretty early, not far off the main trail, which obviously that's a mistake, not far from the parking lot.
Right.
And then him and my son Weston and Tristan went on up farther.
Okay.
So I was the first one off that trail. So I saw probably 7 different hunters.
I knew you would because it's such a small spot.
It was so funny. This couple came in here. This guy and this girl, and he has his shorts and t-shirt, dressed in all black hat, black backpack. He looked like California.
That's funny.
No, just kidding. They had crossbows. She has this camo hoodie on with a blaze orange vest. This is archery season. We try to wear camo, which is fine. And he's there for probably, I don't know, I bet it was 5 or 10 minutes trying to cock his crossbow. he couldn't get it. So they were just there for
He didn't have the rope crank or the hand crank.
I don't know what his deal was, but finally they got it. Then he comes down, walks past me, and he never saw me. I had to holler at him.
Oh my gosh.
Then he was just walking around. Can I come back through here in a little bit? It's like, why don't you circle down that way? Come on, that'd be great.
Did you see anything out there? Like
not any deer.
Someone we bumped into said they saw an 8-point, right?
Yeah, a guy hunting just real close to us, up towards where you guys were, had a nice 8-point right under him, but couldn't get a shot. There's just branches in the way. And he saw, I think, a spike. Yeah. And a couple doves. So there was deer out there, but
the idea was basically to get out there and test for new gear.
Yeah, right. For sure.
So we bought all new camera equipment this year for the sake of the Big Woods Whitetail and the podcast and all that stuff. And that kind of segues into what we want to bring everybody. I think that showing this and portraying where we want to go with you guys coming in from California, us East Coast boys, putting it all together, we thought it'd be really cool to bring this to everybody. So a combination of podcasts and YouTube videos and just kind of show our hunts throughout the season.
Right.
So that was the idea of getting set up with the equipment.
Trying it out. There's so much stuff. Oh my goodness. Scratching the itch of hunting a little.
And you guys are actually good with this camera tech stuff. I don't really care about the tech stuff.
You're the odd man out.
Just work. Right. I'm the odd man out.
We're texting each other on the tree stand. Why is this thing set like this? It's like,
wait, Gerald, I'm ready to throw this thing off the tree. I have to move too much because I like to get up there and just like hold still.
Yeah.
And now I'm fiddling with the camera. So I climbed up my tree, got everything situated, and the head on the arm
the flow
down. So I had to climb back down. I'm like, this is stupid. What am I doing? I almost sold the camera on eBay right then and there.
Posting on Facebook.
But anyway, that's the goal. The goal is to bring content from this season and try to portray and show everybody what it is to bring newer guys like yourselves into this. Like, I'm super excited to introduce you guys to the world of hunting, to show everybody what it's like to raise kids in this environment. Like, I'm really excited to show that because we genuinely want people to understand and see what they're missing.
Right.
And for more hunters to get, or people introduced, and for more people to get introduced into hunting. I think it's really important.
So yourself and Gerald, you started a company, a channel, Big Woods Whitetail.
We did, yeah. And I mean, you guys were a huge part of that. You guys kind of inspired that getting it started. When you guys came in, Eric was like, man, Mike, you got to start like showing people what you're doing. Like, we just take it for granted. We were kind of raised there. So the idea of Big Woods Whitetail was basically so the name Big Woods Whitetail came from, we have a passion about hunting the big woods. Right. So you have a lot of guys from the Midwest, a lot of the big TV channel or YouTube shows and channels and whatnot are put out from guys in the Midwest showing you the biggest buck.
Right.
So the reality is that the majority of the population in the United States is not shooting these massive 200-inch, 180-inch, 106-inch buck.
Yeah.
Average guys are shooting 80-inch buck, 100-inch buck, 120-inch buck. In our area, in northern Pennsylvania, if you shoot a 120 or 30, that's like shooting 150 in Illinois or Ohio,
right.
Iowa. It's like shooting a 160.
Yeah.
They're hard to come by. So you hunt the region that you're in. So again, the idea is the Big Woods Whitetail being like our favorite place to hunt.
Yeah.
You can have these farms with these ideal edges and you can have all this ag and food. You hunt the big woods and that'll separate the men from the boys real quick.
Yeah.
If you have all these defined funnels and, like I said, food sources everywhere, you're hunting the big woods, you need to figure out where they're feeding, where they're bedding, and you have thousands of acres to figure it out.
Right.
So me personally, I have a real big passion for hunting the difficult big woods. That's where the Big Woods Whitetail comes from.
Okay.
Right. Speak for us. I know we're very excited to be doing this with you guys coming from where we are. People don't do this type of stuff where we're from. Especially where we're from. So it's so exciting for us. For me, I get to live out like a bucket list thing. And I'm incredibly excited to do this.
Likewise.
This has been an awesome little podcast with you guys starting off. And it's so cool to finally show everyone where we're going and the stuff that we're going to be filming and just all the content. I think it's so cool for us to be able to document our journey from absolute beginners and for you guys to document your knowledge and experience and learn more.
Yeah.
And I just think it's great. And I want to thank you guys.
Yeah, likewise.
Absolutely.
Sitting down, having a time.
It's going to be real fun.
The funny thing was, like, just real quick, both of us kind of got into, for some reason, got this itch to start filming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like before we met you guys, I don't know what it was. I started all of a sudden getting all into filming, and I have no clue why.
Yeah.
I started looking at YouTube stuff and like somehow we got the urge to do it, and then you guys come along.
And you gotta give their backstory. So Eric and Hayden are like really good with the tech.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are like experts. That's how Eric and I even met, was through working together in business, right?
Yeah.
So with your experience with the tech, your experience with the hunting, it's gonna be really cool. We can bring it.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
We're gonna get a lot of fun things together. So it's gonna be an exciting time. Exciting time.
It's gonna be entertaining if nothing else.
And when we're good enough, we're gonna do some West Coast versus East Coast. We'll do some challenges. Yeah, it'll be really cool to see. So I'm excited as well.
Absolutely.
I love it, guys.
Good stuff.
I love it. All right, God bless.
Good job, boys.
Yep.